The Israeli army has bulldozed a village in the Jordan Valley, leaving dozens of Palestinian families homeless in the freezing cold. They also demolished the only water well in the area. Press TV's Nell Burton reports on that now from Jericho.
Israelis have destroyed an entire village of dozens of Palestinian Bedouins in the Jordan Valley area. Overnight, the Israeli army, accompanied by bulldozers, arrived in the village of Chabad Ain Kazaliah and destroyed the entire village, leaving 15 miners and 10 Palestinians homeless. They further destroyed the only water pipe leading into the village. The Israeli authorities have further denied entry to all human rights organizations and media into the village.
The people are living on the mountain and Israel has declared it a national park. The area was named after the Kazaliah Bedouin family, whose livelihood has now been destroyed. These people have suffered under Israeli policy for many years. They attempted to take the demolition orders to court but failed because the courts support these policies.
In the winter months, the family have been left with very little to survive and no access to vital facilities such as running water or health care. However, they have no choice but to remain.
This is part of Tel Aviv's plan to ethnically cleanse the entire Palestinian population in the Jordan Valley area. The Israelis have already taken control of 90% of the Jordan Valley, and the Palestinian residents continue to suffer as they attack the land, water and people in an attempt to annex the entire area to Israel.
During the negotiations, the Israelis made their policy transparent that they would like to annex the entire Jordan Valley area. Over 90% of the Jordan Valley is designated as Area C, with illegal Israeli settlements controlling up to 50% of the land area. 25 people have now been left homeless following their housing demolitions, with nowhere to go, no access to running water, and all media and aid being blocked by the Israeli army. Rights groups say this could lead to a humanitarian crisis. Nell Burton for Press TV. Occupied Jericho.
Well, to discuss that further, we're now joined by Miko, who is the author of The General's Son, Journey of an Israeli in Palestine, who is joining us live now from Jerusalem, Al-Quds. Mr. Peled, thanks a lot for joining us. And I wanted to ask, I wanted to start off with the larger picture here about these stories of annexations, demolitions, etc., as a whole throughout the occupied territories. What exactly is the game plan here, do you think?
Well, I think this is part of a larger plan that began about 65, 66 years ago when the State of Israel was established, and it's to ethnically cleanse Palestine from its indigenous population. The destruction of villages, the depriving people of land and home, depriving people of water, sealing wells, contaminating wells, killing livestock. This is all part of Israeli policies that have been taking place for decades. This happens within the boundaries of 1948, which is what is the State of Israel, where the State of Israel as it exists. It happens in the West Bank. It happens in Gaza. It happens in the Negev Desert. It's part of a larger plan, which Israel is executing very rapidly to destroy any Palestinian existence within historic Palestine, what Israel considers to be the land of Israel.
Indeed, and you mentioned that this has been going on quite rapidly, at least of recent. Why exactly have these efforts been intensified of recent, do you think?
I think Israel is concerned because since Israel does not recognize what is called the two-state solution, or the solution whereby there's a Palestinian state in the West Bank, and Israel has really canceled the West Bank. There is really no more a West Bank. There are small pockets of Palestinian autonomy, but there's really no more West Bank. There's a reality today where half the population are Palestinians, half the population under Israeli control, under the one state that Israel has created all over Palestine, are not Jewish, they're Palestinians. And so this creates a problem for Israel. And as we know, the Israeli government right now is a fanatic, extremist, militant government. And they are very concerned about this demographic reality. So I think they are panicking. They want Palestinians to leave. They want Palestinians to come to a point of such hopelessness that they have no choice but to leave. So when you deprive people of water, as Israel has been doing for decades, Palestinians get about 1/10 of the water that Israelis get. They're deprived of water, deprived of land. Their homes are being destroyed. There's very little media attention in the West to any of this. And so Israel wants to rapidly move along with this process so that it can create a state that gives preferential treatment to Jews on all of Palestine.
Indeed, and so where does this leave any prospects of peace then?
Well, there are no prospects for peace in the acceptable framework, which is what used to be called, or what is still referred to as a two-state solution. Those negotiations which Secretary Kerry is trying to put together are a farce. They're nonsense. The only context in which there could be any kind of peace or peaceful resolution to the conflict is within a real democracy that will hopefully be created in place of the State of Israel, a democracy that recognizes the rights of Palestinians and Israelis as equals. But this means a great deal of pressure on the State of Israel and the fall of Zionism, just like we saw the fall of apartheid in South Africa and the fall of the legalized racist system that used to exist in the United States. It would take a great deal of effort and pressure from the outside world, as well as pressure from the inside, to bring that about. But certainly in the more common sense of the word, what is considered the peace talks, there's not going to be any progress with that at all, because Israel is not interested.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now, but of course we do appreciate you joining us here on Press TV. That was Mr. Miko Peled joining us from Jerusalem, Al-Quds.